The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Good morning and welcome to Autism Live in the month of April 2024. And yes, it's a Saturday. I know we don't usually do Saturdays, but here we are nonetheless because we have so much content this month that it's spilling over into Saturdays. I don't know how many more Saturdays we're going to do, but it's spilling over into Saturday today. And we've got an amazing guest for you. And we just couldn't wait until the end of the month to bring her on. Lois Brady is going to be with us in just a little while, and she's been on the show before, an amazing visionary, she's a speech and language pathologist, but so many more things. Amazing person to talk to about language and communication, but lo and behold, she is now the co-publisher of Autism Digest. And I did not know that. I missed that. Somehow in the kerfuffle, I missed that. And she reached out the other day, and she's got an amazing gift for all of you that you can get today at no cost, and you're going to love it. So you're going to want to stay tuned for this. And that's part of the reason we wanted to bump her up earlier in the month, because you should have this and know this. It's a great gift. Wait till you hear. So that's a really wonderful thing. Also want to say that we're so delighted to be here with you guys and doing this programming. It's just so exciting, the level of guests that we have for this month and the amount of it. Normally we've gotten down to sometimes a 2 new show or a 3 new show a week schedule, and you're getting at least 5 new shows a week. Check our Facebook to be checking the calendar. Remember that once we do a show, once it premieres, then it's available as a podcast and you can download it and interact. You can still write in questions of all of our experts that we have. We hope that you're participating. So thrilled to be here. And we're going to get to Lois in just a second, but whenever we have a moment, we like to check in with the jargon of the day. This is when we take on one word, one phrase, one acronym. I didn't even say how you guys could be interacting. We're premiering right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You guys can be writing in your questions. I promise you, we did pre-record this episode, but I promise you that if you have questions, Lois and I will be checking to see what the questions are. I will make sure that questions get to her. So I hope that you'll interact. It's still a great way to write in a question, even if it's after the fact. Remember that you can take us and listen and podcast wherever you go, and that I always like to remind you guys that we're in our 14th year of programming. And we've been able to bring all of that content to you for the past 13 years free of charge to you. And that is something that I'm very, very proud of. And that Dr. Grant Pichet and I worked very hard to make that a reality for you, because the whole mission here at Autism Network is information and inspiration. Boom. That's what we want to do. And it does cost money to do that. So when you download the podcast, there will be advertising on there. We hope that you embrace that, because those sponsors are making it so that we can bring the content to you for free. So please embrace it. If it really is not your thing, some of you have written in and said, I would like to contribute a little bit and be able to get the podcast for free. You certainly can do that as well. You want to go to glow.fm/Autism Live. When you go, it's a $5 a month fee, although if you buy it for the year, it's less than that. So $5 a month if you're doing it month to month, and you get absolutely everything that we do on Autism Network, whether it's Autism Live, Ask Dr. Doreen, or any of the new podcasts that we're incubating. You get all of them for that low price, and you get them ad-free. So there you go. We do encourage you that if however you're listening or watching, please, it also helps us to defray costs when you have more people watching our content. So please share. If something resonates with you that you see, please share it. Please like it. Please subscribe on whichever platform. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, subscribe on Facebook. Or if you're downloading it from any one of the many podcast aggregators where our content is, please subscribe so that you get it regularly. That matters on the search engines. I don't understand it. But the other thing that's huge and matters is if you review us. Even if it's a bad review, it helps first of all, it helps us to know how we can better serve you. But it also helps for other people to learn about our show. So, and we want to give information and inspiration, so that's what we're doing here. So I started to say jargon of the day. This is when we take on one word, one phrase, one acronym. We try to figure out what in the hey nani nani are those experts talking about. What does this actually mean, and what does it mean to me and my loved one right now? Because if you watch the show, we're all about content for that larger autism community, which of course starts with individuals who are themselves on the autism spectrum. I hope that you see how many of those voices we're featuring during April. I'm very proud of that. But we also include in our community individuals who love those on the spectrum. I identify as one of those people, a proud pony, parent of a neurodiverse individual, and you better bet your boopy that I love him head to toe, right? And only want to be a good ally. So anyway, we take on these terms so that those of us who haven't lived forever in the autism journey, we hear these terms and I'm like, I don't know how to be a good ally with this term, but hopefully when we give you our working definition, you've got an idea of, okay, that's what this term means in my life, and here's how I can take that knowledge and help the person, myself or the person that I love, to be able to do more of what they want to do or what that individual wants to do. So that's the whole thing behind the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? So today's jargon term is receptive language. Well, about a week ago we did expressive language, so let's take a look at the actual definition for receptive language. The language perceived and mentally processed by a person as opposed to that which they originate. A person's receptive language skills may differ markedly from their expressive language skills. And that's from the APA Dictionary of Psychology. I don't hate this definition. I hate the first line of it. The language perceived and mentally processed sounds like a factory. But we are talking about what you're taking in versus, I like the fact, as opposed to that which they originate. So it's what they're listening to, not what they're originating. And I do like that it's very clearly saying that your receptive language could be vastly different than your expressive language skills, because that is the case for almost everyone on or off the spectrum. But let's go on to our working definition and see if we can't get a little bit finer point on this. So receptive language is understanding communication from other people in all forms. People tend to think that this is about spoken language, and it certainly is. It certainly is, but by no means is that the only thing. So my ability to take in communication may be not just spoken communication, but, I'm a former school teacher, and, we always had what we called the look, and the look would be that, you gave the kid the stink eye, you pulled your glasses down and gave them the stink eye, and that let them know, teacher is not happy with what I'm doing right now. And that way we didn't have to disrupt things, you just gave the look, and some people will check themselves there. But some people don't know what that look means. They just don't know what that look means. So, and that's part of receptive language. I can tell you, I say this all the time, my expressive language obviously is much stronger than my receptive language. What I hear and how I take information is, it's nowhere near. I can talk you under the table. But if I have to listen and get information and be able to write, oh my gosh, I need a visual, right? I don't hear as well as I can see, right? Or as I can talk. So my receptive language, not as strong, and I have to have workarounds. So a lot of times I'm taking notes when people are talking. But for instance, I always bring up when we go to a theme park and they have the person who is the traffic, because they, especially at Disneyland, every time you go in, they have rearranged the cones and the configuration of where you are going and which direction and how you are getting to your parking spot is different every day. I have never been there that it's the same thing. And you have to watch, not just one person, but like 5 people until you get up to the parking spot that you're supposed to get. And I am horrible at this, right? They have the person and they're going, and I don't know what that means. Does that mean this way or does that mean that way? I don't know what it means. That is also receptive language. Being able to take in information in all the different ways that there is. And this is a vast, vast area. Some people aren't, like I can take it in visually. If you show me a text and I can read it, or you show me, a picture, I can get that much easier. I don't know why. But it's just a stronger sense for me than being able to orally hear something and take information. So think about this for yourself. Which do you think is stronger for you? Are you somebody who's an amazing listener and you can sit and listen to a TED Talk and just assimilate all of the information and be able to regurgitate it? That's amazing. You might have a higher receptive language. But then how are you in terms of expressive? And I have a friend who says, man, I talk and people don't understand what I'm saying. I just, rearrange the words in a way. Or I have a loved one who sometimes doesn't pitch his voice up quite enough. So sometimes the expressive is harder. It could be from nerves, right? So many different things there, but think about this now. Once you've decided for yourself, which do you think is higher for yourself, then ask yourself, so if I was going to teach something to myself, knowing this information, how might I go about that? What would be the best possible choice to teach myself, right? Now, let's push to the person that we love on the spectrum and ask yourself, what do you think is stronger, expressive or receptive? And they could have challenges in both. We're not saying, that anybody has the perfect. Even I have things I can work on expressive language, but my expressive is higher than my receptive. So for your loved one, and I guess there's the odd, rare person that they're equal and even, but which one is stronger? And then how would you play to their strengths to shore up the weakness in the other side? As a former teacher, to know this information about one of my students, to know that their expressive was higher than their receptive, or the receptive was higher than their expressive, helped me to know how to proceed with teaching. So that is a powerful, powerful tool. Please keep in mind that with both expressive and receptive, someone can be at a certain level right now and they can gain skills that help them to improve and keep going higher and higher in both. We are all living beings on this planet, which means that we are constantly growing and there is the potential to learn as we grow. So we can improve these scores. If you say to me, oh, my child who, I speak to them and it's like I'm speaking Greek and I don't know what to do. I want you to consider that there might be a receptive language issue. And within receptive language, as I said before, there are so many different things, but this is what used to make me crazy as a teacher, is that I would see kids who would come into my classroom maybe first day, and I would notice, okay, probably because it's a little bit harder for me, but I would notice that I could say to the whole class, okay, line up, and I did substitute teaching too. So, because mainly I taught the older grades, but when I would substitute teach, I would go in and teach the younger grades. But I would say, okay, everybody put away your books and line up by the door. We're going to go to recess. And, most of the kids would go put their book away, whatever, and get in line. But there would always be 1 or 2 kids who just didn't. And if I asked questions about that from the teacher the year before, often I would hear, oh, yeah, so-and-so is difficult. And I would think, I don't think so. I think they're processing language in a different way. And then, I might hold up, when I'm saying it and saying, okay, everybody put away your books, right? Hold up a card that shows putting away the books, and then hold up a thing about getting in line. And do those kids now do it? And sometimes they do. Sometimes they need a warning about there's going to be an instruction that's coming, right? Some sort of a warning that says you're going to be required to listen in a minute because there's a little bit of a delay. Yeah. So many different things. There is also something called phonemic awareness. Whoo! Whole other topic that we could get into. But if you think about the English language, and the English language has diphthongs, which means that there's two vowel sounds together, and triphthongs, where there's three vowel sounds and no consonants. It is the easiest language to hear and not be able to discern what was just said. And that we find that when we work on some of those diphthongs sounds and triphthong sounds with kiddos, that their ability to hear and take in information, their receptive language, it goes up. So we can always work on these things, but it helps if we don't just assume that the child is being disobedient or doesn't care or is in la-la land. Sometimes they literally aren't able to decode what they are hearing. They hear a sound and they can't decode it. And then in other instances, we have kiddos who have a hearing deficit, a hearing disability. So all of these things are important to note. All of these things are important that we take a look at when we're trying to teach someone and teach them in a way that is mindful of who they are. So there we go. All right, we're gonna show you something really quickly, and then we are going to be back with a guest who's going to blow your mind, Lois Brady. She is wonderful, you guys, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. I promised you a great guest. I promised you a guest who understands what our jargon was more than I could ever hope to. And it's time. We are so excited to welcome back Lois Brady to the show. She is an MA, CCC, SLP, CASAT. I know what like two of those are, so we're going to have to ask her about that. But I'm so excited she's back on the show, and I was so thrilled when I heard from her the other day and was gobsmacked when she told me what it is that she's doing right now. Because Lois Jean Brady has over 30 years of experience as a practicing speech and language pathologist, assistive technology specialist, and a certified autism specialist. That's the CAS. Okay. Lois is the co-publisher of Autism Digest and board of advisors for the International Board of Credentialing and Continuing Education Standards, the IBCCES. That's a lot of letters. So I'm so excited. I am so excited to talk with her about how she went from being an SLP to being the co-publisher, and as I understand it, the CEO of Autism Digest. So let's welcome her back to the program. Lois, it's so good to see you.
Thank you, Shannon. It's always great to be here and always good to see you.
Well,
it's a pleasure.
All right, let's go through all the letters really quickly. So MA,
Master's,
CCC, SLP. I know what the SLP is, but I don't know that I know what the CCC is.
It is a certificate of clinical certification from ASHA.
Okay, well, I like that.
Yeah.
And the CAS was a certified autism specialist. What's the AT?
Assistive technology specialist, essentially.
Yes. I love these. We might have to add these to our jargon of the day because that's a lot of things.
It's fun. It just means I've been in the business many, many years.
And you have, and you're somebody who's made a huge difference for a lot of people. And I certainly knew you as one of the experts when talking about speech and language. And then I got an email from you saying, "Oh yeah, now I'm running Autism Digest. I'm co-publisher and CEO, as I understand it." I okay, like it was news to me, Lois. This was absolutely news to me, and it makes perfect sense. But when did this happen?
Well, Shannon, this happened maybe a year and a half ago when the current publisher, Lynn Young, called me and said, "Oh, please, I'm 85. I'm ready to retire. You're the only one I can think of that can keep this magazine going and add a bunch of new things. Um, would you take this off my hands?" And of course, I said yes. How could I? How could I not? I had written for the magazine. I love the magazine. I love what it stands for. It's been in business 25 years. So I took it on, not knowing exactly what I was doing, but I got it all down now, and it's running smoothly. And we're so proud of it. We want to. That's why I wrote you and I said, I really want to just offer this. It's Autism Acceptance Month. It's our 25th year, or the magazine's 25th year, my second year. Let's just get it out there and show folks how fun a magazine can be.
So in this 25th year, the thing that you wrote to me about is that you want to literally give away for free this month's edition.
Yes, this month's digital edition. We have, this is the February edition, but we are making the back page. We're committed to making the back page a communication board. This one was designed by a non-speaking young man. And Shannon, you may know him, Otto Lana.
I certainly know of him, but I've never had the pleasure of meeting him. Okay. Yes.
So he designed this communication board, and we put it back here. They're not always going to be the same. The next month is going to be something different. But we're kind of dedicated that this magazine is going to be more than just giving information. It's going to be useful. It's going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining. We have, it's going to be interactive. So we have QR codes so that you can scan them with your phone as you're reading the print version. And for example, we have this wonderful little cook. Her name is Chef Shy. And she cooks like nobody's business. And she she published this book. And there's a recipe that she's doing for us. So you can scan the code and you literally go into her kitchen and watch her cooking the recipe.
I love
that. That was fabulous. So it's no longer boring. We talk about breaking research, even controversy. You know that there's plenty of controversy in this community. So we don't shy away from that. We try not to do the same topics over and over and over again because that's out there. It's been discussed. It's as you go through all the autism information, you realize that there's certain topics that just get overdone. So we're trying to go into areas where no one dares to go, but we're going to bring it up. We've been there. We've done that. We understand the areas. We understand the controversies. And quite literally, we've been on both sides. Like we were just talking about IEPs. Well, we've been on both sides of the table. We know what happens. We know what happens when people leave the table.
Yeah.
We're going to jump into that because that's a huge controversy with a lot of anxiety attached to it. And then we're going to talk about breaking research. What's breaking? Well, what is, that's great, but what does it mean to the mom who's reading the magazine right now? And how can she take that QR code and immerse herself into it? So there's that part of it too, like breaking down what's happening in the research community. Myself, I'm doing some fabulous research with AI, but a lot of folks are just like, they're still kind of a little bit hands off of AI. So we try to break it down. Well, what does it mean to you? What good is it? What do we have to look out for? So again, the 25th issue, all that in there, all that interactivity, there's surveys, there's like I said, videos, and we just want to bring it all here. We even have an unboxing video, which is adorable, cute. I don't know about you, but I've seen so many of my students going to unboxing videos and reacting them. So I'm like, okay, let's put that in the magazine with a real product and see how a real child unboxes it and then reacts to it.
I love that.
So a very brave sponsor because, that could go one way or the other.
Yes.
Very brave sponsor donated a product and it went so well. And it's just adorable. So,
I can't wait
you know,
to see that. So
yeah.
how do we access our free copy, Lois?
Well, I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. There's, if you go to our blog and you can click a link. So the blog, our website is autismdigest.com. And you can also, I believe I just put on the front page a get it now circle where you can just click there, go right to it. We don't want to make you sign up for anything that you don't want to sign up for. You don't have to leave any email address, your name. You can just go to the magazine and get it. So we're making it several different ways. You can go to our social media and follow the link from there. Shannon, I think I may have sent the link. If not, I'll make sure that you have it so that you can post it and they can just click on it and go get the magazine and go through it. And, we'd love to hear what people think. We would love to hear their ideas. We have so many features. We have Temple Grandin and Carol Kranowitz in there. So we'd just love to hear what you think and how was the interactivity for the consumer.
Love that. I do see that your Facebook site is Autism Digest, so people can go there. You have a YouTube channel, and you are on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yes.
So amazing. But I'm sure that there are people who are like, oh my gosh, Autism Digest, that I loved it when it was before. It sounds like it's even better now. If they already know what they want to sign up for a subscription, because you have both the digital and the paper copy. So do they get to choose which one they want? Is there later on, if they decide they want to do it, is there a difference in price between the two? You can buy either one. You can buy the paper version, which will come in the mail. It's quarterly every 3 months, or you can get the digital version, or you can get them both. I think, oh gosh, and I should know this right off the top of my head. The paper only is $24. The digital is $9.99, and both I believe is $29. You really can't beat that, you guys, because it's chock full of good information.
It has great information. And one of the things that we're super proud of, with all the AI out, we actually literally made an LLM, a large language model, which is a chat GPT, where you can go in and ask any question. We loaded all of the editions of Autism Digest in there. That's with all the articles from all the great authors. Again, Temple Grandin, Carol Kranowitz, and there's just, the list goes on and on. So we loaded them all in there, and you can go and ask any question you want. So you can ask, what are some tips for getting a job from Temple Grandin? And it will tell you, what does Carol Kranowitz say about calming a sensory child who's having a meltdown? What are the best practices for toilet training? What are evidence-based practices? You can ask all those questions and it will answer them. And it's fantastic. If it has not been published in Autism Digest, it will then go out into the web, search the answers, and bring them back to you.
That's amazing.
I do want to say we're not recommending it for therapy. It is not a therapeutic thing. It's an informational thing. So I know I've had some folks write me and say, oh, there's no way I would do therapy with a chat GPT. That's not what it's for. It's to gain information.
Amazing. And you also have a chat GPT book club? Explain that to me.
We're calling it the book club to make it a little more friendly so folks don't, because AI is new and it seems kind of robotic and it seems a little intimidating. However, if you look at it, the fact that if you talk to one person, say you're talking to me and you're asking me about best practices, and I'm telling you about them from my memory, my best recollection, and all my experiences. So if you use ChatGPT, you have to realize that it goes out and it researches. It gets all of the articles, all of the information on best practices, and it boils it down. So you get all that information, and then you can go through it and decide what's best for you, what's not best for you. So instead of just talking to one person, you're talking to many, many people. And so we did call it the book club so that it's a little more friendly,
Got it.
and you can look at it as just someone to speak with, to get information, to talk about things.
And you
Again,
access that on your website.
mhm,
Okay.
mhm. It's free. We're not charging for it. However, just because of the rules, you do have to have a membership to ChatGPT-4, and that's where all the large language models are kept that people are developing. Um, it's almost like a ChatGPT app store, like when the App Store first came out and you went to the Apple App Store and you picked out the apps you wanted. Well, now you can go to a ChatGPT store and pick out the chats that you want to interact with. And that's why you have to have a subscription to ChatGPT-4. It's not from us, it's from them.
Okay. And do we know how much that is?
Oh, I think it's about $19.99 a year. It's
Okay.
not as horrible as you would expect. And it's a lot of people are getting it now. It's a very handy tool. If you do a lot of writing and a lot of emails and compile tons of information, it's a handy tool.
It sounds like it. I have to say, I am woefully behind on the whole AI thing. But I hear you talking about it. I hear Dr. Grant Boucher talk about it, and I start to get excited.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the other things that we wanted to talk about with you is new AI research into early detection of autism. And
Yes.
you gave me some letters here, EASI-AS. You are in alphabet land today, Lois.
Yes,
What
it
does
is
that
alphabet
mean?
land. We just remember it as easy as, and essentially some new research came out. It was some breaking research. It's in our new edition of Autism Digest that's saying that people are using their mobile devices, their smartphones, to collect videos, to collect samples, and determining our early detection so that they can get their children into therapy at an earlier age. And so they're recommending it. They're saying this is great. People are doing it. Well, at the same time, we have been doing it for 2 years. So we have this research that we're conducting, National Science Foundation. It's an SBIR grant, phase 2. We're almost done now. And ours is early detection via voice. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your smartphone and you're going to watch some cute little filters and videos and or encourage your child to speak or any vocalizations. The AI is going to analyze it, tell you things like, how many words they said, was it intelligible? And then the most interesting part is it's going to take the vocal analysis. It's going to go through it and pick out, are there any traits, vocal traits of autism there? And then either recommend a further diagnosis or not, because this is only a screener. It's not for diagnosed purposes yet. So far, just screening. So the research that came out most recently, and we published it, compared to what we're doing as research, kind of fit together perfectly. So we thought, this is great. We're still collecting vocal samples. So if they went to the Easy As website and wanted to donate their voice, we're asking anybody from any language, any culture. It doesn't even have to be English because it's vocal characteristics, not their words. We're tagging characteristics such as pitch, rate, intelligibility, pitch, rate, volume, distance between words, all these little very subtle things. Believe it or not, people with autism have some characteristics that kind of fall into an algorithm. So we're tagging those. And the more we get, just like any AI, the better the system is at detecting. So we're still collecting vocal samples. It's at the Easy As website, EASI-AS. The AS is Autism Screener. Okay. So to finish up our research and get this product out on the market.
So any age, any language, any culture, but they should already have a diagnosis of autism. Is that correct?
It's correct, but if they don't, that's great also. Even if it's a sibling, because we then need to compare it to neurotypical voices and
Okay.
speech patterns. So we're collecting both with you go to the website and it'll say, I've been diagnosed or I don't have the diagnosis.
Okay.
And then you can put your voice, we're calling voice donation into one of those buckets.
That is fascinating.
And,
So
yeah.
there's so many things. My brain just went rah, because as an SLP, I am so fascinated that when I first saw this, and I was like, oh, this kind of interests me. Why you would be on board with this? But now I kind of get it after you described it, because I'm sure that you, as someone who has more than 30 years experience, when a kiddo walks in the door and you start to communicate with them, your brain is already winnowing down to what you want to do with them based on the million kids you saw before.
Correct.
And that if we could harness some of that same thing to give somebody who's an SLP on day one, to give them the jump start of your experience, well, then then we'd be more effective at treating
Correct.
kids.
And it would take less time. Also, with this technology we're building, it's doing a language sample. So as you're doing the language sample, it's analyzing all those things: the receptive language, the expressive language, the intelligibility, the fluency, the morphology. The AI is analyzing all those things, and then on top of that, it's analyzing the vocal characteristics for autism. It's doing an autism screening.
Yeah.
After that, Shannon, here's the great part. Here's what's going to save speech therapists tons and tons of time. It compiles it into a report and gives some goals, gives some benchmarks, strategies for parents to continue at home. And it does all that almost instantly. Of course, it's not a replacement. Then the therapist has to go and read through it to make sure that everything is right.
Yeah.
And everything is good before they sign. We never recommend, don't sign anything until you read through it. This is computer generated. However, it saves so much time. It takes us 3 hours per child to compile that kind of information, to go through a language sample, to do the markers, to count morphemes, to mark them and get all the information ready. And if it can be done in a fraction of the time, we can spend our day helping kids rather than writing reports. And because truthfully, that's what we end up doing most of the time is we're behind computers writing reports rather than in front of kids doing what we need to be be
Which seems like a shame, especially when we've got
It's
kiddos who are on
a
waiting
waste of
lists.
talents. And
Yeah. Well, amazing. And so tell us the website again where they would go if they want to donate their voice. And then I want to talk specifically about what that means, donating your voice, because everybody gets so emotional right now. And I understand it. Believe me, I understand it about, will my voice be used for something later on? But tell us where to go first to do it.
No, it's www.easyas, that's EASI-AS.com. We do have an IRB, an independent board review, which and I don't know, Shannon, if you know what an IRB is, but what you have to do if you're going to be doing research on children, anybody, but children specifically, you have to write out exactly how you're going to get the voices, what you're going to do with them. They are hyper protected. They are double, triple protected. No one's getting them. We analyze them and then keep them in a very, very safe spot. We don't send them out. We don't do anything else with them after that. It's just you go in completely anonymous. All we really need to know is your age. Do you have a diagnosis?
Okay.
So that we can kind of categorize.
So on the one end, you're not going to be listening to a Budweiser commercial 3 years from now and hear your child's voice, first of all. Because I know people ask these questions and go, but then what will it be used for? That's not going to happen. It's
No.
protected. But also, no one can access and realize that it's your child's voice. Also, I'm sure that it's protected in terms of that
Correct.
as well.
Correct.
So
Yes.
HIPAA and all of those things.
Yes.
The lovely HIPAA.
FERPA, IRBs, it's very protected.
It's a good time. And it is because we need to protect our kiddos. And I think parents, we have a very strong concern about that, and understandably so. All of this is absolutely amazing. I want to go back to Autism Digest and the free edition of it,
Yes.
because this is the
Yes.
digital version that people can sign up and
Yes.
get. So you guys can sign up and get this and start reading through and enjoying the different things that are in that today. And again, go to the website. You'll see directions to do that. Very easy, no strings attached. You don't have to give a credit card that you cancel in 30 days. Lois, you're amazing.
Danny Blumen will be on the cover, just so you know.
Oh,
She's just
how fun.
beautiful. Love her. She's gracing our cover. So if you see Danny up there, you know you got the right edition.
Okay. And we're seeing Danny on Friday at the Autism and Entertainment Conference. So
excellent.
But when this airs, it will have happened yesterday. Never mind. We saw her yesterday. See how that works, you guys? Great minds. Anyway, but don't waste time. Go and get your free copy and read. Now, did Danny write a piece or did somebody interview her?
We interviewed her, and then we wrote up the article. However, because the new issue is interactive, you can scan the QR code and go and watch the full interview right there from the print version and from the digital version.
That's just crazy, Lois.
Isn't that amazing? Yes.
That is absolutely amazing. I remember,
and she did the best interview, Shannon. She's just got so much life and energy. I love her. That literally was the best interview. And we've done Simon Cohen-Barron and Barry Prezant, and they were lovely. Don't get me wrong. But she was just so bubbly and fun to talk to.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I remember a million years ago, I got sent to a home that changed my life. And it was the home. I don't know if he's on your radar, but there's a wonderful drummer. His name is Logan Ellis Shepherd, and he'd be a great interview. He's a professional drummer, Logan Ellis Shepherd. He's a professional drummer, just came back from his first North American tour and before that from a European tour. Brilliant, brilliant drummer. But my son was fairly newly diagnosed, and his parents were sitting down and giving me the full 411 about everything. And I remember sitting there and saying to them, somebody needs to start a magazine. and I remember his parents were so sweet. They were like, well, first, how about if you help your child? and then you can decide what you want to do, how you want to pitch in. And by the time I got to that point, I was doing a radio show. And then this came along. But always my thing was somebody should do a magazine. And of course, I have always loved Autism Digest magazine. And, you were a big contributor. And so it makes perfect sense. And the other person, my dear friend, Joanne Laura, used to write a lot of the articles too.
Oh, yes. Yes. She's lovely or was lovely. Yes. Lovely person.
And so, I was always interested to see what the next thing was at Autism Digest. So I love that you have taken it over. It could not be in better hands, Lois.
Thank you.
We have just a couple of minutes left, and I wondered if I could say to you that here we are, we're in April, and the magazine probably says it all, but my first question that I'm asking people is, what A words do you associate with this month besides April and autism? Because some people are saying different words, but what are the words that you like around this month?
Oh, this month. Oh, A words? They're A words.
Well, we're saying A words, but it could be anything. We just did Autism Awareness Day, but other people have added other A words to it. Like Dr. Stephen Shore started out for us on April 1st, and he said there's four: awareness, acceptance, action, and appreciation. Those are
Yes,
his four words. Do you
yes.
use one or three or four, or do you have
You
extra A
know,
words?
Shannon, that's probably one of the controversies that we need to dive into is just defining autism and how to talk about it and how to use it. We went from a child with autism to an autistic child. We went from autism awareness to awareness and acceptance. And this year, I believe it's just autism acceptance. And those kinds of things, there's a lot of controversy around them. I sometimes you don't know what to say. You don't know what to write for sure. There's a lot of people out there who, if you write the wrong thing, and I'm sure, you maybe have experienced this, um, you get a lot of unhappy folks if
Yes.
you say it with the wrong word order, and then you lose your thought about, well, what was my original content? Because I'm so worried about the words I use and the order I put them. Gosh, and if I could attach an A word to that, I
Yes.
got Alzheimer's from it. I don't know what to say sometimes. It makes me
Yes.
like stop and lose my train of thought so much that it interferes with the message. So maybe I'm just going to say acceptance of those folks who maybe not know the right way to say things or not know the right way to put them. It's okay. The message
Absolutely.
is there. Look past the words into the message.
Yes, I have said things on a regular basis that I get comments for, and I'm appreciative of that.
Hmm.
My thing is, I would say I want to be a student sitting in the front row, raising my hand a lot and
Yeah,
asking questions. That does not mean I'm going to get it right all the time.
correct.
Sometimes I'm going to get it wrong. Plus, which it changes. As you said, like we've been through a lot of different changes, and
Yes.
everybody's thing is not everybody's thing. So often, I will be talking to somebody, and I will say to them, "How do you like to identify yourself as in regards to autism?" Because
Yes.
I have dear
Yes.
friends who refer to themselves as autistic, and then I have dear friends who say I am a person on the autism spectrum, and
Correct.
everything in between.
Yes.
I love,
Yes.
and we're going to have Temple Grandin on in a couple of weeks, but Temple has started talking about when you ask her about identity, she says, "Well, I identify first as the job I do."
Yes.
And
I,
I love that. I love this idea of, well, that's true. Uh, Nora Ephron used to always say that there are always 5 words that you use to describe yourself, and the order in which you put them and the way they change throughout your lifetime defines who you are. And for so long, I defined myself first and foremost above everything else. I would tell you I'm a mom.
mhm.
And now, I probably would say that second because life has changed and some people would like me to stop being a mom with a capital letter that live in my house. So I think everybody's allowed to have whatever words work for them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in describing April. So very good political answer, Lois. You get 5
Yes,
stars for the
yes, I've
political
learned how to
answer.
dance the dance. But I do love describing people by what they've done and who they are. I really try to. I talked about the chef at the beginning. She's this little girl. She's adorable, and I really try to stay away from. Oh, here's Chef Shy, the autistic chef. Here's Chef Shy. She's cooking
Right.
this recipe. Isn't she? Look at her cook. Oh my God. And so I'm trying to just, not even frame it like that so much
Yeah.
we had Alex Cohen, who's another world-class drummer, a few issues back, and didn't even mention the fact that he was on the spectrum. A lot of people got angry at us for having someone who was not on the spectrum in our magazine. And I'm like, well, he is. Why would that's why he's there.
Right.
So
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it really has come to that. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's
yes.
really hard. I got asked recently to speak at a thing, and I went to look at it, and it was for all it was for all speakers that were people on the spectrum, and I wrote and said, I don't think I'm the right person for this. And they said, why ever not? And I said, because I am not on the spectrum. I do not identify as being on the spectrum. And they were like, oh, we just assumed because you're hosting a show called Autism Live. And I was like, well, fair enough. But no, I identify as a pony, a
There
parent
you go.
of a neurodiverse individual. That's my thing. I'm a pony. Anyway, okay.
Well,
So,
we're all just a little bit on the spectrum. That's just what ends. So
yes, but that gets us onto the third rail too. Uh, so I'm gonna very carefully step off of that topic. But really important, if you have never looked at an Autism Digest, well, this is the month to do it. It is
yes,
April, and there is a free episode waiting for you that has your name on it. It's a digital episode. So go to autism, and it's just autismdigest.com is the website, isn't it?
autismdigest.com, and it's Autism Digest across all of our social media. And check out the new features. If you have ChatGPT-4, check out our book club. It's absolutely amazing. You can ask any question you want. Again, it's not made for therapeutic purposes. It's made for informational. But you can get so much great information there. Check out Controversy Corner. We're actually talking about symbols and icons this month. How they can be maybe a little bit too abstract for people who have challenges with abstraction, and maybe they're not the best if you're just now learning language. That's a controversy, and we give some examples of that and maybe what can be done instead of that. So Controversy Corner is going to be great. I think just speaking with Shannon now, we got a brand new controversy for our next edition.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Always feel free to reach out to me and I can point you to the next controversy or the one I'm currently in. Yeah. But you're talking about like signs, like things, like a restroom sign and street signs and things of that nature, correct?
No, I'm talking about the symbols and icons that they use on the communication boards when they're first starting out children, non-speaking children, with the pointing pecks. I think a lot of people know it as pecks.
Right.
And some of the symbols are maybe just hands reaching or some square on a shelf, and that's to represent want, or again is some arrows going a certain direction.
Okay.
Those are all things that we understand because I have no trouble with figurative language. I have no trouble with symbolism. But these are children who are on the spectrum, who are autistic, and they have significant trouble with that. So why would you show those symbols for those words and not just show them the word and teach them how to read the word? And now they have a lifelong skill, literacy. A lot of our kids are hyperlexic. They're kind of tuned in to words and letters to begin with.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're going with that. A lot of these symbols, and you've seen them, Shannon, they're really pretty abstract.
Yeah. I have trouble reading any sign. I'm not good at that.
Yeah. No, the signs you see on the street, that's fine. Those are accepted by a community. So therefore they are communication. Any symbol that's widely accepted by your community, that means something. Now you can communicate by using that symbol. But if you take these ones that are very specifically used on communication boards and in PECs, no one else uses those. So if you went to McDonald's and showed one of those pictures, the person at McDonald's wouldn't know what the heck you were talking about.
Well, that is fascinating.
You need widely accepted symbols.
I love this. I have to ask you, is that a really fun ring that you have on your finger? What do you have on your finger?
It's just my hairband.
Oh,
it's like, my fidget, Shannon.
I love it. I was like, is that just a really cool? Because on the inside it's like a cross, and I was like, is that a really cool thing? There you go.
Hairband.
You've started a trend.
We all fidget. It's just a quiet fidget.
I love it. I love it. I cross and uncross my legs a million times. So there we go. Lois, you're just such a light, honestly. And I'm so happy that you're captaining the ship on this wonderful magazine. And what a wonderful gift for our community. So fabulous. And thank you for giving us all a free episode during this month. I
Yeah.
hope that everybody takes advantage of it. I can't wait to get my copy and see the article and the interview with Danny, because I just adore her.
Me too.
But thank you so much for everything that you're doing. And we look forward to hearing more stuff. And at some point, you can further explain all of the AI stuff to me.
I'd be happy to. And I can hook it up in here and we can even have some fun with it, ask it some questions.
Well, I love the idea. I love the idea of going and just asking a question because, in a similar way, we have 14 years of videos where we've interviewed all of these experts.
Yes.
And we have been coding those questions so that people can write in and it takes them to the thing. But if there were a service that did that, what a thing.
Talk to me, Shannon. Give me a call.
Apparently we need to have a conversation. Anyway, 14 years worth of videos. So there we go. Anyway, Lois, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. Thank you for the amazing work that you continue to do. We've always been so impressed with you. I'm sending you an air hug, and I can't wait to see you or talk to you again soon.
Okay. Thank you so much, Shannon, and everyone. Enjoy the magazine, and please let us know what you think about it. Our ears are always open.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a great day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And so thank you guys for tuning into this really special episode on a Saturday. And wait till you see, please check on Facebook for our schedule, not just for this next coming week, but you can also look back and see all the rest of the interviews that you missed this last week. This last week, if you didn't see it, Stephen Shore on Monday, Dr. Grampuchet for World Autism Awareness Day. Tom Island was with us, Kobe Bird and Julie Matthews yesterday. And then on Monday, wait till you see, we've got Sarah Bradford is with us on Monday. On Tuesday, we have Dr. Grampuchet talking about nighttime issues. On Wednesday, we have Amanda Ralston from Non-Binary Solutions. She is amazing. You're absolutely going to love her. On Thursday, I'm running out of ideas for who we have on Thursday. I don't remember. Who? Oh, Hurdle. Hurdle is two fabulous, thank you, Chris. Two fabulous gentlemen from Florida who are making a real difference in Florida, supporting adults on the autism spectrum. And then on Friday, we have Katie Gibney, who's going to be with us, and she is an expert in helping individuals who are teens and adults. And if you've ever had a question about, well, what can we do to mindfully support teens and adults, make sure that you're with us on Friday for Katie Gibney. She is amazing. And on that show also, we're going to have Deidre King and John Galley drop in for just a few minutes to tell us about something really exciting coming up, happening on the East Coast. So all of that and ever so much more. And then there's 2.5 more weeks after that, you guys, with people, including Dr. Temple Grandin is going to be with us, and so many other fabulous people. So experts and self-advocates. Ooh, it's just so good, you guys. So make sure that you tune in for that. Until Monday, we'll see you again Monday. But until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much. See you next time.